So I want to talk about control, because control gives us the illusion of safety. We think that by worrying we can control the outcome, by thinking about every single scenario we can control the outcome, by taking all these precautions we can control the outcome, and actually when we try and control things we're actually in resistance. And the truth is that we cannot control. You know, there are forces that are working with us, so not, you know, it's not independent of us. We're working with these forces at a higher level with our higher selves that are guiding our lives, and we cannot control everything. And actually when we try and control something, we try and cling to a job, to a relationship that we need to let go of, we need to surrender and have faith and trust. We cause ourselves more pain, we cause ourselves more suffering, and it is something that, you know, we do because we've been programmed to believe that control equals safety. Now again, I do talk often in my videos now about 2020, because boy, wasn't that an amazing example, a living, breathing example of how control does not equal safety. And that was our collective consciousness, everything that's been inside of all us lot, trying to control everything, not necessarily consciously. A lot of this happens from the subconscious realms, but trying to control everything, trying to stay in the known, trying to hold on to the known. All of that was coming out in the collective, and we were seeing control on steroids, where you know it was controlling who you could see in your family, controlling if you could breathe freely. I mean, it was an epic example of how control does not equal safety, because that level of control created huge amounts of illness, ill health, death, devastation, pain, suffering, but on the other side it also created the re-emergence of consciousness, the great awakening. So I'm not saying that it's bad at all or judging it. In fact, I am so grateful for it, and we collectively created that so that we could wake up, because and you can watch my video about darkness, and like often we have to go through, we need the darkness to move us into our light, to wake us up, to expand our consciousness. So it's not bad, it's just look at that and realize how control does not equal safety. When we let go of control, what's the opposite of control? Well, it's surrender. And sometimes we think surrender means to just give up, just sort of give up, give in, just be like, well, whatever. But that is not what surrender means. Surrender means to trust. It means to trust where you're being guided, to listen to that inner voice, to spend time with yourself, connecting to yourself, and trust where you're being guided to go. And trust that even if it means making big changes, that you're going to be okay, that you're being guided to a new timeline, a new plane of existence, and that's okay. So the opposite of control is surrender. It's trusting that the universe has got your back, that the universe wants the best for you, trusting that it's working with you, not against you, with your higher self, and that whatever happens, you can handle it. You are a multidimensional being. You are powerful. You can handle anything. So the opposite of control is surrender, and I have found that, you know, I've understood the concept of surrender, but I've never really embodied it. I understood it in the mind, in the intellect, which is what lots of us have concepts in the mind, where we can read a book and we can understand what the book's saying, but do we actually embody it? Do we actually turn that information into gnosis, into knowledge, into wisdom? We don't until we bring it into the body. And the last year I've started bringing that into the body, just surrendering, just really starting to have faith after going through a huge untrusting period in 2020, not trusting anything or anyone. I've come back to my stability. I've come back to source, come back to God, come back to consciousness, come back to my stability as a multidimensional being, knowing that we are moving back into our divinity, that we are creating a new earth right now, an expanded consciousness, a place that for humanity, we put humanity first, not profits. We put humanity first, and we realise that we are connected. I'm surrendering into that trust, knowing that that is where we're going, trusting that I don't need to have all the answers. I don't need to know everything. I can just focus on my presence each day and allow myself to be led and guided. I can surrender to where I am being led. I don't need to control everything. And when you start to realise that control doesn't equal safety and surrender does, surrender is going to lead you to your highest path, and it's so much easier than trying to control everything as well when you just surrender. Just like when you lay down at night. When you lay down on your bed at night, can you imagine if you laid on your bed and you didn't trust that the bed would hold you, that you were just tense thinking, oh my God, what if the bed collapses? What if this happens? Can you imagine? I mean, you get no sleep. You won't be in that much of a good way because you're in resistance, you're in control, you're not trusting. But when you surrender to the bed, when you surrender, when you allow, when you trust it's going to hold you, when you trust yourself, trust your soul's going to guide you. If you get out of your own way, trust the universe has got your back and wants the best for you, then life is so much easier, it's so much more flow.